It's Friday, April 21, 2023. Good afternoon. This is Midday Live from our News Hub studios here at Adisawe Kanda in Accra. My name is Noble Crosby Anne. In the bulletin this afternoon, some former government officials and NPP functionaries cited in former Environment Minister Professor Frimpong Boateng's Galamsey report to deny claims against them. Also coming up, Cocoa Board initiates measures to support the country's largest cocoa buying company amid concerns over possible collapse. For some international news, Sudan's army says it will continue operations against paramilitary rapid support forces in the capital. You're welcome to the program. We have details of these stories and a lot more coming to you shortly. We're also reminded that we're live on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're live also on DSTV channel 279. Let's start off with this bombshell. And we know that former Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, has alleged that some top government officials are engaged in illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. In a 36-page letter to respond to the President and the Chief of Staff and the Police Service, Professor Frimpong Boateng noted that his efforts at fighting illegal mining were frustrated by some government officials, some of whom are in the office of the President. After the allegations, President Akufo-Addo tags the Ghana Police Service to investigate the assertions and get to the bottom of it. Well, some government officials and NPP functionaries cited in the report have been reacting to the damning revelations of complicity which thwarted government's fight against the menace. One of the individuals mentioned is former Secretary of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bissiu, who was a subject of the CID probe in 2022.
Disappointed that he is coming out at this time that the president has asked the CID to investigate the statement that he made regarding the 500 missing excavators that he alleged or he said, okay, which was in fact not the truth. He's had this information for over 4 years, and I am privy to that information too. Why now? That's my question. Majority of the things that Prof had written in the document, yes, they're true. With regards to the president disregarding dealing with the Galamsey menace, I'm not sure, because he was the chairman of the committee. So he could have gone to the president and said, and then he said he did. But he himself, I don't think he should come out to say he's the last one standing. Was he really listening to them? Prof knows that he's not clean himself, you understand? And when he came out to say 500 excavators was gone missing, in the report I've read that he said no, it was somebody who stated it is not true. I've actually given a lot of report to the CID, so they can actually look at that. But my point is that if we're building a nation, then elderly statesmen like Prof shouldn't mislead the country. He's not being honest to Ghanaians. If he was still the Minister of Environment, would he have actually leaked this report? I'm not allegedly, you understand? Would he have written that report?
Well, this 36-page report speaks a lot about the country's efforts in fighting Galamsey, and indeed it has awakened a lot of conversations on the back of government fight against illegal mining, looking at the president's intervention since the fight against illegal mining began. We're engaging the land minister pretty shortly, but one of the NPP functionaries cited in this report is former MP for Manson Quanta, Joseph Albert Kwam. He has denied owning any Galamsey concession because of his association with the Minerals Commission. He told Alfredo Kanti on Ghana Tonight the report must be discredited, while calling out the former chair of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining.
I must say that the statement is totally untrue. Did he say dozens of large-scale concessions? To my hearing, my brother, I do not own even a single concession, let alone dozens. I do not even have one concession. In any case, if he claims that I have concessions, you cannot have a concession without a document. Land concession is the same as how you acquire a plot of concession. So if he claims that, he should produce the number of concessions that he feels that I own in my name before we move to the next level. Because if I don't have a concession, how am I going to sell a concession to someone? I will consider the report as bogus. He should retract and apologize to me. Other than that, I will advise myself, because you cannot damage my integrity. My constituency was a Galamsey Broom area. So as a member of parliament, I was fighting to make sure that we get a small-scale designated area for my people to get lands to do proper, legal, small-scale mining. Because I was the lead advocate against the illegal mining.
Well, since the 36-page report, which was made available to the president in March 2021, got out, we're seeing the individuals who have been mentioned saying that it should be discredited. That is a chorus all of them are singing. But let's speak with John Jinapor, who is the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, for some perspectives on this very damning revelations from the report by the former Environment Minister. Mr. Jinapor, grateful for your time with us on the program. You've seen and you've read this report. Your reaction to the details of the report?
First of all, I'm not surprised that we are getting confirmation from Dr. Frimpong Boateng that officialdom, top party officials, are involved in Galamsey. Indeed, what surprises me is the fact that people within the presidency, and we are not talking of ordinary people, top influential people within the presidency have been accused of being involved in this illicit, illegal mining activity. And this accusation is not coming from no less a person than a cabinet minister who was the chair of the interministerial committee that was fighting this menace. And so it's not a small issue that we just brush under the carpet. This matter must be investigated thoroughly. Parliament must exert its authority and get deep into this matter, because as far as I'm concerned, you cannot trust the president any longer. So if the president knew this is what was going to happen, why did he tell us he was putting his job on the line? To the extent that the minister says he went and briefed the president. And after briefing him, nothing meaningful has come out of it. You confiscate people's excavators. You claim that you are fighting illegal mining, only to turn around and use those excavators to perpetrate illegal mining. I mean, this is so outrageous. It is mind-boggling. And I can't believe that people at the presidency can get so deep involved in this canker that the president said he was prepared to put his job on the line. I mean, I'm so shocked. I'm just lost for words. I'm so shocked.
Right.
But I think Parliament must do something about this.
Great. We know the police is now looking into the matter, but as Parliament, would you want this taking up for investigations? And you, as the ranking member on the committee, what would you recommend? Would you initiate this?
I've spoken to the minority leader, and I think that if we can have a bipartisan committee to get into this whole issue about illegal mining. Look at how much we spent in fighting these menace. What have we achieved? Where are we, so that we can make recommendations? Look at those excavators that got missing. Up to now, nothing has happened. See, large numbers of excavators, they just got missing, and yet nothing is coming from the presidency. I cannot trust this government. I cannot trust this government for once.
Right.
And I think that Parliament must exert its authority, exert its supervisory role, and do the needful.
Right. Mr. Jinapor, before you take leave of us, I want to find out this from you. So we know that Parliament is investigating, but since the news broke, Professor Frimpong Boateng has come under a lot of attack, with a lot of the individuals mentioned in the report asking that the report be discredited. Mr. Jinapor, can you hear me? I think we lost John Jinapor, who is the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament. We'll be bringing you details of that jaw-dropping report from Professor Frimpong Boateng. It's a 36-page report that he wrote to the president. We understand that the police was also giving a copy of that report, and investigations are now underway. Let us know what you think about some of the revelations that have come from the report on any of our social media handles at TV3 Ghana. Now, to some other stories, leading member of the Convention People's Party and energy expert Kwame Janto has also been reacting to that same report from Professor Frimpong Boateng on New Day.
If Professor Frimpong Boateng was any ordinary person who brought this report out, they will attack his being and attack his report. The NPP under President Akufo-Addo feel that Ghana is their personal possession. So certain things that they need to act on and certain things that they need to say. With such a damning report, they can't say it. Should this country be a poor country? And why are we? Because of mismanagement. And President Akufo-Addo coming in 2016 gave us all the promises.
Like?
The poor, those who can't afford 2-3 square meals a day, he'll make sure that that happens. He'll make sure that jobs are available. And you see, the reason why President Akufo-Addo can't ban small-scale mining and galamsey is the fact that he can't create jobs in the rural areas. If he can create jobs, he will ban it. They are being exploited.
Some of them are shocked.
Because they are sitting at home, they have nothing to do. So the galamsey comes up, some Chinese man brings his money, some American brings his money, and what? They all join because they need to eat.
Well, there's more conversation on the Professor Frimpong Boateng's report while he was chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining on our website, 3news.com. To some more disturbing incidents, reports reaching us indicate that there's been a tidal wave incident along the coast in the Keta municipality of the Volta region, and that has displaced some residents. We understand part of the Keta community, another community known as Fuveme Anglo, amongst others, they've been affected. We know that the Keta municipality is one of the areas in the Volta region prone to tidal wave activities. In 2021, over 3,000 residents they were seriously affected after their homes were submerged. Let's speak with the Member of Parliament for Keta, Kwame Gakwe, for some perspectives and the nature of the disaster, and I'll try to understand the extent of damage. Kwame, grateful for your time with us on the program. Some sad news in your constituency this afternoon, but tell us what the extent of damage is.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon to your listeners and the viewers. To be truthful to you, these have been a perennial issues concerning Keta. Being day out every year, we have the tidal wave ravaging through the communities. And then we have, on behalf of the people who have talked to this government for his commitment in solving this problem permanently. But all efforts have not been fruitful for us. As I speak to you, a lot of communities along the coast, Keta Central, Teji Kofe, Abucha Kofe, Jenu Kofe, Nupese Kofe, Tetevi Kofe, and all have been, the sea have overflowed it bound, and then those communities are now settled in terms of pool of water. So this is what is happening. And then people's properties, food items are being ravaged by the sea, the tidal waves. And then some of the infrastructures, the roofing and the wood, and then even including the tourism
places, including when you look at the Emancipation Beach, have been damaged with regards to the tidal wave. When you go to Agro Lodge, there is a little damage to those properties. So, I mean, the permanent solution to this problem is to continue the phase 2 of Blekusu stretch of the Keta Sea Defense Project. That is the permanent solution.
But tell us, what is the nature of work or progress made on the sea defense walls?
The sea defense for Keta is, all the way to Blekusu. But the phase 2 supposed to start so that at the end of the day, we can push the sea a little bit, then all the way to Aflao border. That is the only way we can be safe. But if we are doing these knee-jerk reactions, at the end of the day, the problem is still there because we are not solving the problem. Last time we asked questions in Parliament, the Minister for Western Housing came to the floor of Parliament and then reiterated that they are working on it. They want to do another feasibility study. I know we vehemently opposed to those feasibility study, and they have allocated 10 million Ghana cedis for feasibility study. As I speak to you, nothing is happening. The minister was in the community, saw the effects and the impact of the tidal wave on the people and the community. And as I speak to you, since then, nothing is happening.
Right.
So I think the only permanent solution is continuation of the Keta Sea Defense.
Before you take leave of us, Honorable, let's find out the nature of the relief items and whether any have come for the affected residents, the households and the individuals who unfortunately have become victims of this recent tidal wave.
No relief item. I think now that the NADMO will be going on to the scene, I haven't seen any of them yet. The MCs are aware, and we think as a matter of urgency, I think that the NADMO is supposed to be at the aid of the people, and then we take stock of the effect of the disaster, and then we know the number of people involved, the household involved. Based on that, and if any relief item is in, then we are able to sort the people out. The last time it was your outfit in terms of TV3 and other corporate body who supported it. So we are actually using your medium to appeal to the benevolent and NGOs and then a corporate body who will be able in their small way to contribute to saving the life of the people of Keta.
Right. Mr. Ajujoli Gakwe, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. We've been speaking with the Member of Parliament for the Keta constituency there. Well, that, if you like, is a natural disaster. We'll be going back to have a conversation on a disaster we're causing on ourselves, and even more damaging is the report from the former chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. But in the meantime, the Ashanti Regional Police Command is on a manhunt for the killer of a 26-year-old lady at Dum in Kumasi. Mami Adwoa was shot multiple times on Thursday night by the suspect, whose name has been given as Tony, a.k.a. Tagore.
Just behind the Dufi Towers is the family house of the victim, Mami Adwoa, also known as Madwoa. A day full of anguish. Family, friends, soap for the 26-year-old lady killed in cold blood. So this is the very spot the argument started, according to the brother who has been narrating to the police what he saw as far as yesterday's horrible encounter was concerned. So it started from here. Then the suspects moved the lady from this particular place to here, where she was shot multiple times. An eyewitness who saw a heated argument moments before her death said her killer, an alleged boyfriend of the deceased, had accused her of cheating. At first, we thought he was an armed robber. Then we heard Majua mentions Tagore's name and pleading with him not to kill her because she hasn't cheated on him. But he wouldn't listen. He shot her 6 times. The police, before picking her body, retrieved 5 empty shells. They retrieved 1 more shell later. Brother of the deceased said he did all he could to prevent his sister from stepping out that fateful night, but she ignored.
And also, oh, be a day. I just say, Abba. And I'm say, me my uncle. Intina Makuja, Intina town a boom. Inti town a boom, meaning a prayer, Miss Manenko, and
for a very strange reason, I was preventing my sister from meeting her boyfriend, but she just ignored me. The police are currently gathering relevant information to hunt down Tagore, who is now a fugitive.
Well, love turns sour. The very sad story for the family of the deceased to deal with, but we trust the police service to do the needful. Let's go back to another very disturbing story, and we're still talking about Galamsey illegal mining, and particularly the report from the former chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Professor Frimpong Boateng. Let's get some reactions from Awula Sewa, the coordinator of eco-conscious citizens, who is now joining us for some, insights on what they make of the whole conversation ongoing. Awula, grateful for your time with us on the program. How concerning are these revelations captured in the report to the civil society organizations concerned with the fight against illegal mining?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me. I have to say that it is not a bombshell. We have been saying for a long time that the fight against Galamsey does not seem to be going anywhere because the political will does not appear to be there. For example, we looked at what happened the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve and the actions of Akonta mining. Has there been any accountability? When Aisha Huang was arrested, he kept on saying that this is not the beginning and the end. If the presidency has really put its presidency on the line regarding Galamsey, then we need to see more robust measures being taken. Joy News did an expose on mining, and we saw persons who appear to be armed forces personnel defending Galamseyers. What has happened to the report? So all this led us to believe that either highly placed persons are involved or they are complicit. Otherwise, what is going on cannot be going on. So we're not surprised at all at this report.
So following the breakthrough of this report and the reactions that it is courting from all quarters, what would you expect authorities, government to do, particularly since Professor Frimpong Boateng is a member of the party in power, and the other allegations are also mentioning members of the party?
Well, I mean, again, if the president wants to put his presidency on the line and is truly concerned about the destruction of our landscape, the poisoning of our water bodies, then a proper thorough investigation needs to take place. This is a report, allegations have been made, they need to be investigated.
I will not to cut you, but that is being done by the police service as we speak.
Yes, so that is being done, but if there needs to be suspension of certain members whilst the investigation is taking place, this must be done. And we must stop granting licenses to mine in forest reserves. All the forest reserves need to be cleared of any mining activity if we are serious. What is the point of having a forest reserve if you allow mining there? And we think that perhaps the head of the Forestry Commission, who said, Mr. Alote, who said that he had no objection to mining in a forest reserve, might need to find a job elsewhere, because his mandate is to protect our forests, not to open the doors to mining. So there are little things that the government can do if it's really serious. But I have to say that before this report, we had been saying that either highly placed persons are involved in Galamsey or they are complicit. So the report is nothing shocking for us.
Briefly, before you take leave of us, we're now seeing the originator of the report, Professor Frimpong Boateng, come under some levels of attack. A lot of the individuals mentioned saying that the report should be discredited. Now, in this instance, who are we supposed to trust? Professor Frimpong Boateng, who made the revelations, or the other names mentioned who want to discredit the report? Some say Professor Frimpong Boating himself is not as clean as he's trying to portray himself to be.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't expect the the persons who have been mentioned, to have any kind word for Professor Frimpong Boating. I have a high regard for him, especially what he did before he entered government, what he did at the Cardiothoracic Center. I have no evidence that what he said is not true. So I think that he should be taken at face value and then a thorough investigation done. I have confidence in him, and I believe that the report is what he believes to be true. It's not surprising that he's being discredited. That is to be expected.
Awula, thank you for your time with us on the program. We're speaking with Awula Sewa, who is with a CSO concerned with protecting the environment on the back of the damning revelations by Professor Frimpong Boating, government's fight against illegal mining. Well, that is related to the environment. Now, if you are concerned about the development of the various local assemblies, know this. For 2 consecutive years, 2021 and 2022, the Ministry of Finance was not able to meet the requirement to transfer 5% of the annual budget funding amount, the ABFA, to the District Assembly Common Fund, the DACF. That's according to the 2022 annual report of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. I'll walk you through excerpts of the key findings and some recommendations made by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee and what they desire to see from government and how disturbing that is. We'll start off with this. So the report also mentions that crude oil production has been declining for 3 consecutive years. We're seeing over 71 million barrels produced in 2019. That declined to 66 million, and that further declined to 55 million in 2021, and then 51 million in 2022. So we're seeing an average decline over the 3-year period, standing at 10%. So we do not know what is going to happen in 2023. Another decline maybe. Now, the total petroleum revenue in 2022 of $1.43 billion, and that was the highest for a single year since petroleum production in Ghana. Now, for 2 consecutive years, we're talking about 2021, and that we had 1.74%, in 2022 with 2.39%. The Ministry of Finance has not been able to meet the requirements to transfer 5% of the ABFA to the District Assembly Common Fund. This is a recommendation that it is making on that. In the disbursement of the funds to the DACF, the Minister for Finance should comply with the decision of the Supreme Court of Ghana in the case of Kodo and another versus the Attorney General in 2019. And that case involved the percentage and the amount that should go to the District Assembly Common Fund. You could find details of that ruling from the Chief Justice then on our website, 3news.com. Now, PIAC is reiterating its call on the GNPC to focus on its core mandates and for the government to desist from borrowing or requesting GNPC to make advances and guarantees on behalf of the government and its agencies. So PIAC found this to be one of the reasons why what should be done has not been done. This is a very, disturbing report for the district assemblies and how we endeavor to see the various municipalities, the various district assemblies grow to reach certain levels of autonomy. But we'll see how that turns out. Reach out to our website, 3news.com, for details of the PIAC report. Let's now take you to the central region where the Omanhin of the Ogua traditional area, Osaberi Makwesiata II, has charged politicians to make job creation a top priority to reduce unemployment in the country. He made the observation when flag bearer hopeful of the NPP Alan Kyerematen paid a courtesy call on the Ogua Manhin at his palace in Cape Coast as part of his campaign of the central region. Alan Kyerematen was accompanied by some former party executives, MMDCs and government appointees. During a courtesy call, the former trade minister told the Ogua Manhin and his subject he would prioritize industrialization if he gets the nod to lead the MPP and eventually elected president in the 2024 elections.
Tisana, so up a day, you shall be Emma, where the Ghana name, say, area president. So we need Juma. No, there, at this year, what people going in a Yasha Juma boy, near Obia Oba, Obotum this Shepa, Ama Ejuma Wabagana. Only Penina says, ya, other Ghana for Yena, Obedoman.
He conceded that unemployment was one challenge the country and the central region was faced with, and believes industrialization was a sure way to transform the nation. In his response, Omanhin of Yogwa traditional area, Osabarima Kwesiata II revealed how his office was filled with application letters from youth seeking employment.
That's obese no way to order or make sure there. Senzama ye oko ye man. Oboshe ma ejuma ba me nyina ya ye bi ye nya bia ya. No ya jun papa. Ode he nyina yeso.
He however called on Alan Chimanting to lead a clean campaign.
Ebo won em paying fun. What did that? Candidates now was there once at the whole cream. Was the two together? No more yene ya waiting. Near Kappa to Quadaba. What may hang in Ara? Yan far butter. At today be a cabby beer. On your da.
Alan Chimanting and his campaign team paid similar courtesy calls on the Edna Minehead's Palace in Elimina to interact with the traditional leaders. The team later held meetings with regional and constituency executives of the NPP. You're still watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby, and let's bring you more stories relating to politics. But we'll get to that after this break. Stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Open your eyes. People fall and they rise. Make you no worry about the things you know we change. The things you know we do today. You go do them tomorrow.
Wow, this girl's got talent. You too can change your world. And it's affordable with Airtel Tigo data bundles.
Bring your dreams to life with the best data bundles only on Airtel Tigo. Dial *111# now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Zest Console is the best place for your IELTS, SAT, and GRE tuition. The IELTS facilitates study, work, and live abroad. The SAT and GRE facilitate study abroad on scholarships. Zest Consult has an amazing track record of training around 4,000 students, nurses, midwives, and many others who have excelled in these examinations and realized their study and work abroad dreams. Contact us if you really want to study on scholarship. Zest Consult also provides real estate, automobile, and IT solution services. We can help you buy or sell lands and buildings and rent office spaces or accommodation. We can also help you obtain a car loan or buy or sell a car. If your institution needs a stunning website and amazing software, then contact us. You can call or WhatsApp us on 0345 631 633 or 050 909 2330. You can locate us at Kumasi Cultural Center and the Chamsume 5 inside Willas Towers. Zest Consult, excellence is our hallmark.
I hit my wife and she fainted, and since that day I met my rock bottom. So that was when I realized that I may end up in a prison.
It is the infamous white powder, dreaded by law enforcement, loved by its users.
I wasn't getting high from the marijuana anymore, so a friend of mine introduced me to crack cocaine and heroin.
For many, though, it is a nightmare.
It's the first thing I see.
There is a rise in abuse.
The abuse of cocaine has risen so much as compared to the early 90s. So it is very dangerous.
And with it, an increase in the deaths of addicts.
People died and we don't know where they come from.
Experts say the use and abuse of cocaine is increasing in Ghana. So what does this mean for the next generation? Godwin Asedeba meets those using it, those ravaged by it, those attempting to recover from it.
Oh, divine master, grant that I may not so much slay.
And those working to ensure that cocaine does not destroy an entire generation.
Married to Cocaine airs on Wednesday, April 26 on TV3, TV3 Ghana across social media and 3news.com.
We are on a mission promoting access to quality health and education through the power of our media space. Since 2014, we have made great impact. TV3 mission now drives Ghana's quest to break barriers and provide access to inclusive and quality girls' education, together with women's maternal health services. Our mission to address the needs of the socially excluded has won the admiration of many. Indeed, TV3 Mission gets you the results. Mission is live on TV3 News 360 every Saturday and Sunday. Supported by Star Ghana Foundation, with thanks to Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office.
You're welcome back to the broadcast. It's time for business, and Juliana Kofi-Menuafo is here with the latest in business. What's in the package?
So we have updates on Cocoa Board putting in measures to ensure PBC is supported because of concerns about possible collapse. We have the details and the latest in the world of business.
Well, do your thing.
Welcome to the business segment. My name is Menu Afo. In our first story today, Ghana Cocoa Board has initiated several measures to ensure produce buying company PBC stays afloat in business despite its challenges. Public Affairs Manager of Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, says Cocoa Board has no intention to watch the indigenous cocoa buying company collapse.
Produce buying company PBC has faced significant challenges, resulting in losses to its market share from over 30% to nearly 8% over the last 5 years. In January last year, the management of the company hinted at downsizing its staff because it was unable to meet financial and operational obligations to its workers. The company, according to reports, is now faced with huge debts and falling revenue. So what exactly has accounted for the weak position of the country's biggest indigenous cocoa buying company? Kofi Che is executive director of the Young Investors Network.
For us as shareholders, as investors, analysts, we like to see cost of sales being managed properly because the top line, the revenue has always looked good. Okay, 2021 as at the same period, half year, it's over 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. Okay, it dropped to about 600 million Ghana cedis. Okay, but when you look at the cost of sales and the administrative expense, that's what eats into the whole revenue, bringing it into the loss situation.
As part of efforts to bring the company back to its feet, Cocoa Board, together with SIGA and the Ministry of Finance, have given PBC seed funds to enable them secure money for their activities.
Even with the seed funds, it's difficult for them to issue guarantee for the funds to be released to them. Issuing the guarantee from the bank come at a cost. So we take out that cost that they are supposed to handle, as well as also ensuring that they have funds to go to the communities and buy cocoa from the cocoa farmers. So that's the kind of arrangement we have put in place at this point.
We'll talk about Treasury bills now, as analysts are predicting a further increase in interest rates on Treasury bills, even as government targets to raise about 1.96 billion cedis today on the domestic market. This will be done through the issuance of the 91, 82 and 364-day Treasury bills. Proceeds from the auction will partly be used to refinance maturing bills worth 1.75 billion cedis. Now, there have been concerns about increased government borrowing on the Treasury market, with interest rates now hovering around 19% on the 91-day bill. An increase in interest rates will mean the government will be spending more to pay interest on loans if yields remain high. From that, Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, Samuel Ameyi-Gabos, has attributed the decline in real estate industry to increasing cost of building materials due to the high taxes, among other factors. Real estate, a subsector of the services industry, which contributed the highest to Ghana's GDP, however, recorded negative growth with a year-on-year decline of 7.6% between 2021 and 2022. Samuel Ameyi-Gabos tells 3 Business the trend is worrying.
Seen any specific policy initiative to look at our issue, and one of them that we keep arguing or talking about has to do with even the cost of the building materials, because we are saying that now that the price has gone up because of all the issues, the external factors, the dollar-cedi exchange rate, it means that government tax component, which is a percentage of the product price, has equally gone up. So why don't we look at just giving some flat rates to apply to some of this importation, to help us manage the increments internationally and how it's affecting the industry? We haven't heard anything in that area. We keep, like, everybody is left to survive, manage it. The prices on the market are as it is. If you can pay, pay. If you cannot pay, take a decision on what you want to do. I have not seen anything in this direction. We all agree that there are difficulties, but you need to take some measures, give this temporary relief to industries to be able to sustain. If we don't look at this thing carefully, we'll eventually kill these industries, and the repercussions will be very dire and more difficult to handle.
In more news, the European Union wants governments to regularize the ease of doing business in the country. Ambassador of the EU to Ghana, Erchad Razali, says this is key to attracting investors into the country.
Ghana is a fantastic country to do business in, but Ghana is not an island. There are other competitors with, huge critical mass like Nigeria, or which are similar in terms of size like Côte d'Ivoire or Senegal. And it appears that the competitive edge of Ghana over the last years have been slowed down, and some countries like Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire, for example, attract more investment. And we, as the European Union, we want to invest more. We want to invest more in Ghana because this is for us the place where we should do business. This is a hub. This is a country which boasts with a huge human resource capacity, and we want to do more. And we are trying to find ways with the business community, with the government, to address some of the concerns of the business community when it comes to the regulatory framework, when it comes to the business climate, environment, so on and so forth.
And that's it for the business segment. My name is Menu Afo. Stay with us for the sports news.
Abrantie mi hu fum so bia won ho. I see ku. Sa abrantie we o ka kire nkrofo ni se me mo bia nto home of line e wo so bia keke. Na o sa kwa so ajenkwa ohene sasai kan ni mpotam ni na o di nchesha dada manfo ase o madu poto. Miwi na mesi ya ka ha kwa ko ke ho se na wa se o iti kuno atiale wudini usu yo wa himie wa hifa
asasi anyone did do nyina ya mini meja dia na mo ha se memo nipa hunu ne ye na ye papa
ne na ye papa
ani so nipa beto ni home appliances nyina wo kafam eso se woni wonye mim so fa so pe istay kafam of sorte oteto woni ema no so akodu 65%.
TV kese pa no boy say
enso o ma sorte o
ya TV kese wa hifia
oni how
yeah, Abrantie me bisamu a obi antimi ka kire me de ntie se me kuno. Ensam o kan susu to asum. Afi wei ye de Yesu hu be che no. If so kan sempa. Afi foforo no ye badwe. Maka famfo enso to.
Anyhow. Hello? Kafam. Uma sorte Ponta Pilato mame.
Digital Zakios, Michelle Kofaka from TV Kasian Bremi.
Ratchet, Mahonia.
Confirm, Assorted Easter promo. And you're up to 65% off.
No matter where, the Capitals always tuned in. In their offices.
You actually played it before, right? Yeah. Oh, okay.
In their retail centers. Even in their busy marketplaces.
Oh, should that some quality like what?
And in their cars. Even in their homes and in their rooms, they listen. The capital is always tuned in. Yes, we run the city here on 3FM 92.7. Your Urban Lifestyle Radio.
Join Giovanni and AJ Sapon on 3FM Drive 92.7 Monday to Friday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. We run the city on 3FM 92.7, your Urban Lifestyle Radio station.
Good afternoon. Let's have sports here on Midday Live. And the Ghana Premier League enters match week 27. Accra Lions opening that week with a game against Medium ISA this afternoon at the Accra Sports Stadium. And to Accra Lions, they currently have the lowest average age among the Ghana Premier League teams this season due to their decision to promote the young players from the academy. The Three Sports team has more.
When you speak of Accra Lions, the one thing that comes to mind is youth development. Over the years, they have produced talents such as Raouf Salifu and Frederick Asari. This season, the Lions have a squad average age of 18.8, which makes them the youngest squad in the Ghana Premier League this season. Youth coach of the Accra-based club, Ernest Siao Nate, explains that recruiting young players is part of a philosophy of a club.
Honestly, I must say it's very fun and enjoyable because they seem to understand what the club stands for, and then every session they go through, they understand. It makes it very easy for them to,
Accra Lions boasts of an under-16 youth team which understudies the senior team. And most of the players from their youth team graduate into the senior team at a very young age. Due to the upbringing these young players receive, they always transition seamlessly into the senior team.
It's one of the philosophies of the club to recruit very young, talented players. Because if you look now in the Ghana Premier League, we have about 7 players who play actively in the league, which are very youthful players, and also they come from our youth team.
Managing young players can be a challenge, especially when majority of a squad is filled with inexperienced players. However, Nati explains that there are benefits to that, as the dedication and commitment are usually high even during training.
So far, so good. There has never been any form of difficulty. It has always been easy with the transition, because at some point our youth team find themselves training with the first team, so they get familiar with them, and then that makes it very easy for them when the transition time is available. And also our first team is made up of very youthful and young players, so when these players from the youth team transit to the first team, it's very easy for them to adapt, because they are familiar with their first team players. Yes.
Strong, steady performance by Accra Lions now, creating the spaces. Shot is fired on target. It's the third goal.
The young Lions have shown that they have what it takes to go all the way. With a relatively young and inexperienced squad, Accra Lions are 9 points behind Aduana Stars. The championship might be a bit of a stretch, but the top 3 finish is on the cards, and this young squad is looking to make more history.
Now to the Premier League, and Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has revealed that his players have the belief to win games following the team's back-to-back draws against Liverpool and West Ham United. Arsenal face Southampton this evening.
Cannot communicate, they are not here probably, so what we can say is that our players have full belief in what we do, that do know that what is at stake is incredibly beautiful, and we want to continue to do, and tomorrow play really well, play with our crowd every single ball, create an incredible atmosphere, and win that game.
Well, there will be Ghanaian interest in this game. Kamaldeen Suleimana and Mohamed Salisu. Game starts at 7 p.m. That will be all for sports. My name is Kelvin Owusu, and Sanuela comes your way with entertainment.
Good afternoon. Let's do some entertainment news updates here on Media Live. My name is Noella. Now, Obrafo's $10 million suit against Drake remains a topical issue within the Ghanaian entertainment space. Now, reacting to the issue on TV3 New Day earlier this morning, media and entertainment entrepreneur Baba Sadiq says Obrafo does not have any right to seek for compensation on his own based on some case studies he spelt out.
That publishing of that sampled piece is for Manche. And of course, when he tweeted, I saw a lot of people weighing on him, and I was like, no. I realized a lot of people, again, also because thought leadership of industry is less, and also often because you have a lot of ignorant people speaking and commenting on industrial matters across. We're bound to elicit this sort of emotions. But when you come down to it, you look at all the various case studies, whether Manche had sat down all these years and not spoken about anything or not, whether he was paid or not, there was an inherent publishing right in whatever he composed.
Okay.
And since that particular part was what was sampled, the compensation was solely his. In actual fact, in the Desmond Charles Cisco case study, the label couldn't, it was his publishers and the composer's legal team that actually reached out for compensation. Ricky Martin couldn't have.
Yeah.
The label that released Ricky Martin's song that owned the master rights couldn't have. So unless Manche actually waves it off and says, okay, well, I'm giving Obrafo permission, in actual fact, following all the case studies, Obrafour didn't have any right whatsoever to actually seek for compensation on his.
He didn't have a right.
Well, still on the issue, UK entertainment lawyer Kelvin Nana believes Obrafour and Manchester stand a better chance at winning the suit if they work together as a team.
Claim on publishing alone, stand alone by himself, but he wouldn't be able to have a claim on sound recording as a standalone by himself.
I see.
He'd have to jointly do it with Obrafour. And as we always say, he owns a piece of the whole, not a whole of his piece.
Could they go back and work together as a team so they can also sue as a team? Will that make their claim even better?
Of course, that makes their claim stronger, and obviously that takes Obrafour from that a situation where he's having to prove ownership. So that will make, obviously, streamline the whole case for both parties if they can partner up and do it together.
So at the moment, if it should go to court, the judge can strike it out and say, go fix your rights issues first before you come back? There's a likelihood that's what will happen.
Yes,
okay.
I mean, that'll be the first thing Drake's and Universal will be pushing for, to say we're not sure who the owner is here and the ownership is in contention. So until that is resolved, we shouldn't be in court. That will be the first. And then the second thing is also a jurisdictional matter, obviously. The copyright is a sound recording from Ghana. They have registered it post-infringement in New York. Most of the defendants are based all over the world, but very few of them are based in New York. So there is that jurisdictional matter too.
Well, finally, still to this regard, Principal State Attorney Dorothy Habada has admonished creators and the general public to familiarize themselves with laws governing their area of interest even before getting into the space.
What rights we own. The laws are there, even though they are fundamental, you know. But that's the basis, the foundation of all of what we are building upon. So the laws are there to tell us what rights are, what intellectual property by itself is, or what copyright is, what the rights are, what is even protected in the first place, what you own, how you can exploit your works, your rights, how you can, it tells you everything. So if we can foundationally get to familiarize ourselves with the laws, what is this thing even about in the beginning, in the first place? What are we dealing with? I keep telling people, when you are getting into an area, it is expedient that you get as much knowledge as you can about that particular area so that you have the foundational basis upon which to now build upon. You know, so I think that fundamentally we should be inclined towards wanting to know what the law says, find materials in the area to read about, you know, and there's so many materials. Even if you say you can't buy, if you have a little data, you can get as much information. Is that something
Well, we'll still be following up on the story and bringing any developments, if any. That's how we wrap up on entertainment news segment here on Media Live. My name is Noella. I'll be handing over to Crosby now.
Noella, thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Let's bring you some international news now. And Sudan's army has said it will continue operations against the paramilitary rapid support forces in the capital, despite a 72-hour ceasefire call from the rival forces. The army said it had launched intensive strikes on Friday against the forces, noting that the operations would continue across the capital. Sudanese news outlet reported. It said thousands of soldiers have been deployed to undertake the combining operations in the capital. The UN and several countries have been trying to persuade the two sides to agree to a truce. Now, the forces said it had been forced to act in self-defense to repel what it described as a coup attempt, but it would abide by the truce. Well, that's our package this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching the bulletin. My name is Noble Crosby, and there's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please do well to log on. We have the entire production team. Thank you so much for watching the program. We'll see you again some other time. It's the weekend. Enjoy. Bye-bye.